Welcome back again, and we are now doing the second method, which is the thermogravimetric method. We have our brine grinder, and over here we do have our Metla Toledo moisture analyzer. So if you can see in here, we do have a couple of heaters, the infrared heaters, and we have our tray where we'll put our grind sample over there. Then the heater, so once we close, the heater, which is on the top, will send in heat or infrared radiation onto the sample, and the sample will be losing moisture. Then as it's losing moisture, the balance over here automatically calculates that moisture change. Once that moisture change remains constant, it will calculate and give us our moisture content of a grain. So we'll come back over here. Before we go back over there, we need ground sample, and we have our brine grinder. So the first most important thing is, let me just get the brush, is to ensure that, if you had another team that just used this, they need to ensure to clean that well. So if the team did not clean that, you first of all get a brush to clean that. Remove all, as much as you can remove. Then once that is cleaned, we look in here also to see if we can just clean. Okay, that looks clean. So we put our cap. This is where we'll collect our sample. So you just need to follow. I think there is kind of a little key that you need to follow that in. Then you lock. So once that is locked, one of the things that I think we would, in a manual, you'll see we'll need to open this. It goes left and right. Open that. So with this, we don't need to really measure the amount of sample that we're putting. So we'll get our spoon. We just scoop and just put. So this will be from your 400 grams that you guys will collect, from the initial. So from your 400 grams, that's what we've used to do the oven method. We'll use some to do this method, and we'll use that 400 grams for the next method that we'll use to analyze our moisture. So one of the things that we discovered, we just bought these not long ago, so it's a pretty much new. We need to put as much as we can put to fill that. Then we close our grinder. There's always a key, so one needs to pay attention to get to the thing. It's over here. Okay. So once that is in, we lock that. So once it's locked, over here too, the bottom of the grinder, you can open that or we close that. So it's more of a coffee grinder, but we see how we can use that for stuff. So we need to close that so that we don't have a sample falling off. Then we need to have our, where's my phone? I think it's over here. So the method, if you look at it, we've put in our samples, we've loaded that in. So we need to grind for 15 seconds. So we have our timer. So set our timer. You have your phone on. Timer. So we have our clock. timer or stopwatch. So over here we have our little button for us to start. So we'll have another team member that will, Preston is busy with the camera, but another team member will hit start. As you hit start, so 15 seconds. We got 15 seconds. So once we've had our 15 seconds, we just try to tap that as much as we can. Then now we open this to get our what we've ground. I think here we just need to be patient. So sometimes you might grind, and one of the things is I made the setting was too large, but you see this did not really grind well, so we can just redo it again. So those are the little things we can try, because we want enough sample that we can do in our drying experiment. So we can just redo this again. And so it's nice that we encountered that, because some teams would likely do that. So we get that again. So this time around we can decide to maybe reset. If you think 15 seconds, we can just increase that to 20. So let's get that. Okay. Okay, 20, approximately 20. Try to tap it a little bit. Hope this opens fast this time around. It's kind of, okay, I think now we are getting. Okay. So one thing, if it's not getting, one of the things we can do here is, get that top out. Okay, it's coming out. But it got stuck somewhere again. I think this stuff is not too. Okay. So one other thing we can do is we can close this and just get all the other samples out. I think that still works. Then if it's difficult for it to get out, what we can do, so the next step over here with the Toledo, we have our sample. So it's the first thing is place the grain in a dry balance, so we have that then so the next step is place a clean dry tray. So place that in. Then once we place that in, we need to close that. Then ensure we put the towel weight. So you just hit this until we have 0. So that removes the weight of the pan. Then once we're done with that, we open. Then we need to place our grind sample inside. So we can open this. So since it was just difficult to come out, so we ensure to just put our grind sample. Just try to get pretty much everything we had. So now we get, I think the manual, I set 15 seconds. I think I will likely increase that to, because the goal is to get close to 1 gram. But you see what we have here, it's like after putting the sample, 0.5. So we'll likely increase, the grinding time to, so in the manual, or the lab guide, you will likely see maybe 30 or 35 seconds of grinding so that you have enough sample. Then after that, we just want to spread that. So spreading helps the infrared to be able to act correctly on it. Then once we do that, we close. Then it tells us to hold the start button. So this is the start button. Hold it. I think the bottom.
It was on there.
Yeah, they hold the start button. So sometimes I'm not seeing a lot. One of the things I'm trying to check off, sometimes it has 2 switches behind here. I'm just trying to check if the other one was on, because I'm not seeing.
When you hit that one switch, the lights went on.
Okay, so let's see. You press, yeah, you hold until you press and hold the start button. Okay. Not seeing any light here. What's going on?
What switch did you hit in the back there? Because that worked.
Yeah, the one. Oh, yeah, the one.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So one of the things you guys can see, we need to see that those lights. So that helps. I think this controls the infrared heater. So we need to just hold this until that shows. Then we just allow that. So now slowly, it's still 0% because the infrared lamp is still heating up. So one of the things that we just forgot to do was to heat up the lamp earlier. But so we can see as a lamp, so over here we can get the hot air and the infrared light. So as it's sending its beam on the product, we can see the weight changing. It means that's the amount of moisture it's losing over time. And I know you're not over here. You can, if you're in the lab, you put your hand over here, you can feel the hot air coming out. So while we are observing that, one of the key things is we'll try to grind that's something that's approximately 1 gram. We had just 0.6, but 1 gram it's the most ideal, so that we can spread that across the stuff. So it keeps going up. So it's keep losing some moisture. So now if you see things slowing down, it means now it has a number of time. I think it gives a time range. If nothing really changes, then so now it's still heating up, but pretty much if we've lost most of the moisture, it will not change as much as we can. So normally you see ours is getting to around 12%, but maybe by the time you guys are doing this in your lab, or maybe yours will be like 10%, or who knows. So but this just gives you an idea how, if we're using the gravimetric method. So the term thermo, it's heat, gravimetric because it has a heating component, and it has the metric, which is the weight. So both the scale and that are just being coupled together, and we're able to get our. So it's still changed to 13%. It means it's still losing some moisture. So it's just a little weight game. Taking time. Will you get to 14? Oh yeah. So now, once I think the manual says, our lab guide says, the result is ready when 2 places to the right of the decimal are displayed. So we have these 2 places that have been displayed. Then so it's telling us 13%. So we'll record 30% of our stuff. So that's the short video for the thermogravimetric method, and we'll see our next video then. Thanks.